So we can go and vibe.
Somewhere we can go and vibe. Just together we could get a little lost in time. Oh baby, there ain't nothing holding you up. So come along, I know there's somewhere we can go and vibe. I know there's somewhere we can go and vibe. Just together we could get.
What is the last thing you created?
I made a song last night.
Nice.
Ooh.
Can't wait to hear it. Cooking aside, when asked who is the better cook, is it your mother or your girlfriend?
That's a tough one because
It's smart.
my mom cooks like simple food down. And I usually cook for my girls. So I don't know if they can
You
cook
can
or
have
not.
both of us.
so-
Hey, listen, let's talk. This table is a thing we're willing to consider.
You know what I mean? I'd say my mom.
Your mom.
Okay.
Okay. A movie you would like to read in a book?
A movie I'd like to what?
To read.
A movie I'd like to read. Oh, as a book. That's a good question. Interstellar.
Oh,
yes. Yes.
But I think it would be a little too long, don't you think? There's too much.
It's really
going on.
complex. You keep reading the pages over and over again. Ulemo. Like, wait,
What's going on? What'd you say? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what do your clothes say about you?
Swag.
you look like a skater boy.
Yeah,
Really?
you look like a skater boy.
Really?
Yeah, because that's a skate park.
Oh man. I say Litatsanza, like I'm a mixture of like Litatsanza and
Litatsanza ke
Lihipi.
eng jwale?
You know what I mean? I used to dance, so Gonna
And
be-
now it's raining. Fantastic.
We're going to keep going until we can't go.
it's blessings. It's blessings.
All right, where is your next tattoo and what is it going to be?
Oh, my in the arm. I want to get a tape of kind of like a piece that represents Jabba. So I want to get a tape, and the tape is gonna say C, and the cassette stuff is gonna be like the lyrics to the track.
Oh,
One of my favorite songs by
That's
Jabba.
fire.
that's fire.
Okay, do you feel bad for the villains in movies?
Sometimes,
Nah.
Sometimes.
I felt bad for Joker.
but I like Bane. That was my guy.
Like what?
Bane.
Oh, nice.
That was my
Bane is
guy.
violence.
I was wondering what would break first, your body or your spirit. Come on, that's a bar, dog.
Okay, what are 3 components for a banger?
3 what?
Components that make a banger.
A banger.
Yeah.
See, my definition of a banger is different from, the mainstream. So I'd say authenticity in the flow, and a dope ass beat, and just being different.
Being different.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the most incriminating thing police would find at your place right now?
God damn.
What are you going to do?
Incriminating. It's probably like a weed crusher somewhere, but I don't smoke weed, so I don't know if I can
Just put it
explain
out
it.
there.
You're going to jail for a crusher, my
You know
nigga.
what I mean?
Maybe it's got some
That's
leftovers
it.
in there.
That's it.
The most important.
I'm a good boy, man. Ain't nothing like that in my house. For real.
He forgets we know him.
Yeah. Pretending. Most
Oh, my
important
days.
question, gin or wine? Gin or wine?
Wine.
Wine. Take a wine shot.
Let's take our wine shots.
Hello,
Oh,
and
snap.
welcome to the Queen's Fortress. We are here with rapper, producer, Motswako Nista, Mahikeng raised and born dope ass nigga, Nasi Tautona.
What do you do?
Welcome to the family, Nasi.
Oh, wait, it's a
Here's the
pleasure to be
Queen's
here,
Fortress.
guys.
This is not
It's a
your
pleasure
first
to
time
be
in the
here.
fortress.
I finally
but the
get one.
You finally. Welcome to the family,
You know what I
Tautona.
mean? I'll be like, yo, where mine at? Where mine at?
When Nasi
You know
first
what I mean?
came to the Queen's Fortress, it wasn't the Queen's Fortress. It was still Pick Me Up Radio. We didn't have bracelets. We didn't have cups. We didn't have this. We
We
didn't have
used to
jazz.
content produce in studio.
We were
Like,
the most chaotic bitches
We,
in the
we
world.
had no idea what we were going to say. We had no idea what games we were going to play, what 67 seconds was. We used
Yo.
to like rock up and off the dome. Just
Like,
like
okay,
shoot
let's
the
find
podcast
out.
episode.
But it worked.
It did.
Funny
It's a pity
now.
that people will never hear that shit because, like, we just.
I think I've got a clip that you guys sent me somewhere.
Bring it. I want to see it.
I've got like something in my archives.
And
for
you
sure,
actually met Hector in that episode because you used to do 2 people per episode, and you guys actually started collaborating, and you went to go perform at Wow. It was such a vibe.
Yeah, I think that was what we wanted the podcast to be: people to like meet each other, and
it's actually working. But
now we want to interrogate you one-on-one to see if you even know what you're talking about.
Now you can't hide behind other people.
Okay, yeah, your name, Tautona, nation's president.
Nasi Tautona.
What is the significance of being the nation's president, and who nominated you?
So
first of all, was it a democracy?
It's a direct translation, right? So I grew up in Mafikeng, and formerly known as Bophuthatswana, homeland, and Mangope is like, a big thing for anybody that comes from that era. So like with me, I attach myself to like what Mangope represented, and Khosi Mangope ne re mitsa Tautona, ke Tautona, you know what I mean? So I used Tautona as a rhyme somewhere one day on a track, and it just kind of stuck with people, and I used to just go by Nasi, and people started calling me Tautona.
How do you feel carrying that name though? It's so big.
Do
you not feel like you're floating in big shoes?
Are you filling the shoes?
But at the same time, like, I give myself that kind of responsibility to make sure that somewhere in my music I represent something bigger than myself. You know what I mean? I try and talk about certain things. I try and reach out to other artists and also, represent that thing of like just lend a hand to help wherever I can.
Speaking of collaboration in the industry, you've worked with like some heavy hitters. You've worked with Dick Sunganga, you've worked with Ginger True, you've worked with Kulichana. Who else? Let's keep going. Let me see what I have here. Because wow,
I mean, there's
Tony
a few.
Mac.
Like
it's been a lot.
So you talk about like Bukrut Manyana. Do you feel like the heavy hitters in the Motswako game have a responsibility to the young upcoming people?
Yeah.
Do you
For
feel
sure.
like they
sure,
have,
definitely.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, look, so we did this album Tsinasu, right?
Yes.
And the whole idea was we came up, as a 3-man crew. We got put on there and there, right? But along the way, we dropped the ball. You know what I mean? So there's certain things that we had to learn, but we taught ourselves those things through experience, through learning that, man, if we had this, we should have done that, that, you know what I mean? So that kind of knowledge, it's important to like pass it on to the next guy, so that he doesn't have to go through that, right? So you get that through conversations with the people you collaborate with, and you know what I mean? So we try and put that into whatever we do, whoever we work with, especially the younger guys. We put them on game, like, yo, bro, do this and that, because that's what we got. So collaboration doesn't just mean, because I could put you on a song, bro, and then what?
That doesn't do anything for the career.
So the benefits of collaborating with people is like you're building a solid relationship during and after that can last,
And with your experience with these like heavy hitters in the Motswako game, do you feel like you got the same that you're giving back?
Eventually I did, yeah. You know what I mean? Because it went from, guys like Bo Cooley and Dukes, and I used to see them as like, oh my days, this man. You know what I mean? But but now it's like I know them. I've got a relationship with them. You know what I mean? So it's removed that kind of
the rose-colored glasses.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I can talk to them on some genuine level now. You know what I mean? So I do get that. That game that comes from just genuine conversation. Be like, hey man, maybe try this, try that. It happens.
Okay, I like that. And Motswako, in South Africa, it has its place. Bomaftown Heights, it has its artists that we see. You've traveled internationally, right, and performed on different stages, right? Okay. Where in this globe that we live on, where's the home of Motswako? How do you relate to people that don't even understand your language?
That's a good question.
Right?
I've always felt like Motswako is not necessarily a one-dimensional kind of sound.
Okay.
It's more of a feeling than a genre, right?
Fair.
Because if you think about it, if you compare HP to Momulimi, they're different kind of artists.
Yeah.
Right? Jabba made a lot of popular music, like
Feel
You
good
know,
music.
there's a lot of house elements in there, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas Mulimi has a lot more boom bap influence in his stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the common factor is the language.
Mm.
Yeah,
If
but
you think about it,
where's the
that's-
Where's the
home in
home
the
of
globe?
Motswako?
Where's the home of Motswako in the globe?
Moptown.
Like, no, in the globe on an international scale.
Because
Where
surely
are
you don't
guys?
only want to remain in South Africa and be a
Exactly.
genre only in South Africa. When we say Motswako is now an international genre, the
Because
way
I mean, we're seeing Amapiano finding a home in this international market, you know.
yeah.
Where is Motswako? Where are we going to find it? Who are we talking to, you know? Who are your people?
I think sometimes it feels like Motswako's like that forgotten stepchild or something. You know what I mean?
It's Cinderella
You know, it's like-
before things popped.
it's almost become like a forbidden subject when you're talking about hip hop in South Africa.
Yeah.
Right.
Why do you feel that way?
If you think about where hip hop started popping off
Okay.
Yeah.
locally,
Yeah.
Okay.
who were the people at the
The
forefront?
face
that?
of
Oh,
it.
You know,
Yeah.
the
yeah,
face of like, you know, like rap, man. You know what I mean? Before Zulu rap was cool, Motswako was cool.
I hear you.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
So
It was
do you feel like
Kwaito and-
its time is up? What do you feel like?
Nah,
Is the time
not at all.
up? How
I
do
think-
we
I
turn
think
this
the
around?
the audience in SA is very lazy.
Okay.
Okay. You're lazy.
Yeah, the audience is very lazy, man. Like, people don't look for music anymore. Like, there's so many artists out there, bro. Like,
That's
just forget
true.
Motswako. There's just hip hop. There's so many
We only
dudes out there
consume
that are
what's in
dope.
our face, and if it's
Exactly.
not in our face, we don't bother to
That's
dig
true.
any
Exactly.
deeper.
And we're living in an era where like the internet, everybody's pushing something.
That's
so
very true.
you get to a point where you're like, hey man,
You're
I'm
flooded with
tired.
content,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? But if you really like something, you'll find it, bro. You'll find good music if you want good music. You know what I mean?
I hear
Um,
that.
And it's turned into this thing where it's like hip hop versus my piano. I was like, why?
Why are we versing
Why are we doing that?
anything?
Like,
There's just
But
no
isn't
need.
that
But
the
it is
way
a
the world is
conversation.
in the industry? It's always going to be who is taking up more space, because that's
Who's
always
got the
goal.
market share?
and that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, my piano is doing its thing. It's taking up market share, and rightfully so. It's a dope sound. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But you're doing us an injustice by comparing us. It's two different things.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
peanut butter and jam, it's not the same.
But it's a combo.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly.
So, are
Exactly.
you happy with where Motswako stands in terms of the content that you are consuming from Motswako artists? Are you happy with the level, the quality? Is
Yes,
Motswako
what
something
is
you
the-
yourself want to consume?
Yes. What is the difference between then and now? What's
Yeah.
the before and after?
I think we need more guys to step up. You know what I mean? I think we're still looking at your Murafes and Bomo Mulimi to like keep it going. Like, we've stepped up as Hash One. We're there. We're doing our thing. We brought a different element to Motswako.
Yeah.
And it took a while, but we finally got our respect. You know, but
yeah.
there's so many other guys that are doing the damn thing. You know, they just need a chance to step in the game. So
Whose responsibility is that?
it's theirs, and it's ours. It's the audience's. It's everybody's responsibility to, like, when we talk about support, guys.
Yeah.
Like, liking my post is not support.
What is support? Would it be
What is
That's
buying
not
music?
support,
It's
dog. If I put up a
purchasing.
link of my music, the minimum thing to do is like at least share that link with someone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Share that with someone.
Yeah.
Liking it doesn't do nothing for me, bro.
But listen, we're still playing our part by liking your posts, guys. You
Oh,
know?
wait,
are.
but
We
it's-
could have just scrolled.
But we didn't.
you know what I mean?
I
But
feel like you're then
I
now
hear
touching
you.
on the conversation. Like, before we moved on to the liking, you're touching on the conversation of then opening up the industry and things like that. So when you say it is the responsibility of the young cat and the older cat to like, how does that go hand in hand? Because then, you know, people would have that conversation of, it doesn't matter how dope my work is and how much work I'm putting in, you know, and how high the quality is. If I'm not being given the platform, then it's futile, right?
yeah, that's true. I feel like that sometimes. I still feel that way.
Yeah.
As much as some of my music gets out there. But the reason I don't release as often is because I know there's a lot of nonsense out there. Yeah, I'm gonna run into
don't we know it?
some politics of
But
the
can't
game.
we say that nonsense has always been there, and perhaps the people before us put in more work?
I think it was less prevalent. Like now, because we're living in this digital era, like everything is accessible. Everybody's accessible. Like there's nobody
So
in the
then
world
should
that
the
you
good
can't.
content not be accessible? Why is it
Yeah, but
not being accessed?
everybody's flooding things into, whatever's going on. Like Mungu feels like they're an artist. Like no, bruh, you're not an artist, dog. Like, you know what I mean?
But now we know chola nama rapper sis. We're going to show Sila.
I'll never
and
do
it's
that
like,
again.
guys, let's give chance to the artists.
Yeah.
Everybody's feels like they can rap. Everybody feels like they can sing. Everybody, we don't call people MCs anymore. If a guy can pick, being a rapper is not cool anymore. I don't go by.
So.
It's not
Okay,
cool
so then
anymore.
what are you? Just an artist?
I'm a creative, bro.
Yeah.
I'm
But
a
doesn't
creative.
everybody say that?
Yeah.
How do you set
Yeah,
yourself
but
apart by coming through and saying, what do you do when you say, I'm a creative? How does that set you aside from the fashion designer or the guy
and
who...
the painter?
Because
Yeah.
I don't do one thing anymore.
Okay, so
I
you
don't
produce
just rap.
and make music.
I don't just rap.
Okay.
I'm a graphic designer. I'm a photographer. I'm
So
so
you're
many
just kind of
things.
capturing yourself in
Yeah.
one word.
Because you figure out so I make a song and then I need an artwork.
Okay.
I'll holler at a homie of mine who's a graphic designer, and then he disappoints me.
Yeah.
Eventually, what happens? I
Learn
learn
make
how
it
to do it
yourself.
myself.
Yeah.
Right. I start working in that space. After long enough, I'm very comfortable to call myself that
Yeah.
because I'm fluent at that piece of language.
I hear
Yeah.
you.
You know what I mean? So that's why I've shifted from introducing myself as just a rapper, because I'm more than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm an MC, Lokhone. I'm not a rapper. There's a
What
difference.
is the
Everything.
difference?
What is the
Please give us the
difference?
definitions
Yo,
of
man,
each
anybody
one.
can rap, dog. But MCing is a skill.
Anyway, I'm a rapper then.
You know what I mean? Everybody can rap, dog. Everybody can rap. Like,
Yeah. So an MC is?
an MC, like,
Is
putting
the
words
MC the
together,
lyricism?
like, yes, being a
the
lyricist, being, a poet.
Yeah, but
being,
then not all music. How do we distinguish that? Because in the music industry, the bangers, right, are just
Diamonds on my wrist.
dipabu.
Diamonds on my wrist.
Dipabu.
And
So if
it's
you are
still
you saying
music,
those
right?
people are not MCs? And making a banger, and then if you are an artist or a creative or
doesn't,
whatever,
it doesn't make you not an MC to, like, make some, meaningless music.
okay,
I do that sometimes.
yeah.
But you must have the ability to say something that can affect somebody else.
But maybe the music, these diamonds on my wrist, is inspirational.
Think of the new generation of young kids, right? And the
Yes.
way they think the life that they're living. Everyone's
The
trying to
things
be
they
an
see on social
influencer.
media.
Everyone is going to these house parties.
have
and
the
engaged.
times
So if-
not changed?
If someone has a song about, getting high on Molly at a house party and, having sex with a stripper and buying a diamond chain, is that not relevant then to
have
the
the times
times?
just not changed?
It's not about relevance. So I can still talk about pop and mollies and all of that, but
Okay.
how am I saying it?
Yeah, but
Am
I'm
I
saying you
intricate
saying
in my
it's in the messaging, right? What if the message has just changed? What if what we're hearing now is the future of music?
Because these young kids
I'm not
listen to
saying
these artists and say
I'm not
they
saying
deep.
it's the messaging. I'm saying it's the skill behind how you put your words together.
Okay.
So
Okay,
I
and
can,
who's the
I
judge
can,
of
I can
that?
talk
'Cause then
about
it's
I can talk
objective.
about drugs,
Yeah.
money, alcohol, sex,
Yes.
Okay.
right? But do it in such a way that I finesse the shit out of you, like,
Okay,
you know what I
okay.
mean?
Yeah.
And just my pen game needs to be on point.
But who's the judge of that?
No, I mean,
Because some
art is
people listen
subjective.
to
No,
these
yeah.
artists and they're like, oh my God, this old boy is so deep.
He
And I
changed my
listen to it and
life.
it's crap,
Yeah.
right? So who's
I
the
just think
judge?
times are changing, because even the way I feel in the hip hop game, I feel like left out. Like when I switch on hip hop or Motswako, it's old. Like nothing new is here. I'm not finding anyone who's making what I want to listen to. So perhaps now these are Luther and Russells of hip hop, and that's who we're gonna listen to.
Yeah, maybe we've just aged
get
and we're
you.
refusing to update ourselves, right?
Yeah.
But we're not, as an audience, we're not binary. It's zeros and ones. We're not
Facts.
this way or that way.
Okay.
Like people want different things. Like I want to listen to some ratchet stuff, but at the same time, I want to listen to something that's like gonna feed my soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it all depends on you, what you're looking for in that moment, what you're going through. You know what I mean? You might be depressed and you're not trying to hear certain
Some deep
conversations.
shit. Yeah.
And a track just pops in and it's not what you're trying to hear, but it cuts deep and you're like, ooh, that'll change your
Got meaning.
direction. You know what I mean? If you feel that might change your direction and you might start consuming a different type of content. We all go through changes. And as musicians, as creatives, we need to allow room for everybody to coexist. We don't not want this, popular stuff that's going on, but it's like, give the other people also space to coexist with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's
not
about
either
just
or.
merging the two spaces and finding a way to just all be around.
True.
Speaking of music and bangers and things that are nice, Nasi, link us to your song.
Drip, drip. Yeah, this is Drip, Drip, man. And Drip is just a song about being cool.
Yeah.
And I worked with a homie of mine from Bots, Viso.
Okay.
Viso View, one of the hot niggas. Got
Shout out for that track. That's fire.
It is.
And Matlera Dope Boy is on this as well. He's
Right,
like one of my favorite new guys. Pizza Groot man, and I'm like, hey dog, I'm still young, dog. But he's got some dope energy, bro. Like I remember when we were doing the song, I had a chat with him, and I was like, yo, bro, what books are you reading, dog? Like, cause the way you're talking to me right now, like I feel like you know a lot of stuff that I don't know.
You literally are what you
know
consume,
what I mean?
hey?
You know
What
what I
you're
mean?
putting in you is just becoming.
He's just got the energy, and I'm like, yo, you're gonna do something great. Like he's gonna be, and he's already doing that.
And this song is part of the great stuff that he did. So this is Drip Drip by Nasi Tautona and the rest of the kids.
Bye, sure.
I know this shit is uncontrollable. But let's not control ourselves with fucking girls that are fucked up in the front thing. What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear?
Yeah. Fine. Drip, drip. Open the forceps, don't I let it spill. Click, click. Cut the snap for the gang, stop for the man.
Cover that combo.
Cover the
combos, communicating.
Cover the
They got plenty of steak.
when we at the stage. I'm fine. Drip, drip. Open the forceps, don't I let it spill. Click, click. Cut the snap for the gang, stop for the man. Cover the combo. Cover the combos, communicate. Hey, got plenty of steak when we at the stage. Fine. This ain't what you used to. We know that. The drip got your girl dishing out that Slurpee. Ooh. Know that. She got the dome for the on. Kikem rawa van. Hey, Formosa, Kikem babosa. Check, that's a throwback. Fine. We out the favelas. We out in favelas chilling with Hans, shaking their buns in the sun. She put out the mobile. Hey, cut the snap for the gang. I tell him in the back. Take this one back to the crib and eat her. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. She fell for the boy with a stats on my coin. All we do is gather the coins, and she wanna boink. I can't do it. Might be on a jet in the next few minutes. In it, I might be on a jet in the next few minutes. Fine. Drip, drip. Open the forceps, don't I let it spill. Click, click. Cut the snap for the gang, stop for the man. Cover the combo. Cover the combos, communicate. Ooh.
They got plenty of steak.
When we at the stage, I'm fine. Click, click, hey. Let it spill. Click, click. Cut the snap for the gang, stop for the man. Cover the combo. Cover the combos, communicate. Got plenty of steak when we at the stage. Fine.
We are still in the fortress, and that was Drip Drip by Nasi Tautona.
Abudita, yeah, because Khudile Ntato.
Just
call him by his name now.
He's no longer on a first name basis. Man.
So speaking of you doing multiple things, you have music where you produced and wrote the lyrics. What is your creative process in bringing like these two things together? Do you start with the beat? Do you start with the song? Do you know what it's about before you make the beat? Like what's the conversation with yourself when you're both your producer and your lyricist?
It's weird. So I'm learning how to make beats, right? But so I engineer most of the songs that we create, whether it's my song or
With
it's Hash One, you know what I mean? So I'm sitting there recording and coming up with ideas of what should it sound like, you know? So it took me a while to understand that, and that changed the way I approach music, to the point that when I start a song, I don't even write anymore.
Okay.
It's just me and the mic, and I say whatever comes,
And then you
figure it out.
I feel like
as
this
we
is
go.
something in a documentary.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You've been
You should
recording these things.
you should like record this shit for a documentary one day. Like it would
Maybe.
be good to see
Yeah,
you create, right?
but I always get shy when I'm creating, and I feel like there's eyes on me. Even just the camera on, like I feel like there's eyes on me. Somebody's gonna see this one day, you know.
They need to.
Yeah, maybe they will one day.
Scarlett demands it's a monat.
And don't cut out the bloopers. Do
No,
not.
most there.
So you start with the beats and then you just throw yourself in the studio.
Yeah, I'll start picking beats. I'll play like 10 beats, and whatever kind of speaks to me in that moment, I'll just go off. You know, I'll go off on a freestyle. I'll make noises, and from there it's like, a word will pop in, and then you start, formulating sentences and that kind of thing. You know, before it was a thing of you'd have a beat on loop, and I'd be sitting there with a pen and a pad. Writing.
Pen is always better than
what I mean?
fucking phones.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine typing my
I can't do the phone thing.
No,
you know,
it
hence
doesn't
I've,
stick.
Yeah, hence I've moved from not writing at all. Like I've got a mic in front of me. Like
Let me rock.
Just
it's
do the
another way
thing.
of So that's how I roll.
All right, so we're gonna play a game. I get you wanna be like a million things, so the game will also be a million things, and you'll figure out where you stand. So you wanna be a rapper, you're from Mahikeng, you're Tswana, you wanna be a producer, you wanna be part of a hip hop group, like you wanna do it all.
Yeah.
You know, you wanna Motswako out here. So this game is just everything.
Oh,
it's all of these things that you are,
Okay.
and it's random questions, and there are 10 questions, and 70% is a pass. So we don't expect anything less than 7, or
And
you're gonna take
losers
the
take
gin
shots.
shots.
The pressure.
You see how
The
losers
pressure.
and shots sitting there for
Synonymous.
you. Yeah.
One tlhaloganya.
Let's get it.
Number 1. Mahikeng is the capital city of which province?
The Northwest, yo.
If you didn't know that.
I was gonna be so disappointed.
We thought we were gonna
Sounds
start
like
you
what's
off.
going on.
We thought you were gonna start you
Yo, y'all got the right guess. Yo.
Okay. A repeated section of a song, often using imported samples, is a what?
Hook or chorus?
A repeated section of a song, often using imported samples, is a what? I'll give you a tip. It's in production.
A repeated part of a
And
song.
you just
often-
said the word.
No, Mutukele, I want him to take a shot. Mutukele.
It does this in a song.
Nasi, we need to count you down.
A loop,
5.
hook.
Yeah! It's a loop. We're being so nice to you. I'm done being nice.
Yo, okay.
Number 3. Profits from which the musical hip hop festival? No. Profits from which hip hop music festival funded the hip hop museum?
Back to the city.
Ow. Okay. What is the English meaning of Mahikeng?
Mahikeng. Come on, I've never thought about this. Oh,
English
man.
meaning, think about it, like marinate.
I need to think.
Nasi, this game is not about thinking. Say la la la.
Yo, Mahikeng.
La la la.
I'm trying to remember what Lifika in English means.
It's not gonna save you at that place
Oh,
of
man.
rocks.
It's the
I'm
place
sorry.
of
I'm
rocks.
sorry. Muff time. Oh my
Number
days.
5. What words describing the kick and the snare of the drum sounds define this genre of music? There's a genre of music with the kick and the snare of a drum sound.
Go on.
Define the genre.
Hip hop.
Boom bap.
Yeah.
I was like, yo.
that
I'm trying to
No,
like
it's just the drum.
find
There's
things
no
that are like
snare.
furthest
Number 6. A sour porridge made from mabele and water that have fermented is?
thing.
Yeah.
You say it's so cute.
Do you eat that shit? I hate it.
I love that shit
Oh,
with
I
gravy, with
hate
tomato
it.
gravy.
Why?
Yeah, with like yeah.
It's so bad.
that's
You eat it
wow.
for? Is it a snack?
That
Is
is
it bad
wow.
when you eat it? Is it what
Nah,
is it? What are you going
Bro,
through?
yo, thing, a short hot dog, a short
man,
and a
short of
little bit of
fine.
like relish.
Oh,
Money,
I'm anti-him.
money.
Okay, a hip-hop group that consists of Wyclef Jean, Pras Michael, and Lauryn Hill is...
Fuji's.
Ah! Okay, Dilo Dinametse Ranex means...
Yeah.
Habari Dilo Dinametse Ranex.
Did you Rametse Ranex?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm screaming
I'm up
Nasi
for-
and this
I'm up
shit.
for
Oh,
sorry.
I'm excited.
Did you Rametse Ranex?
You better learn some Spitori to communicate with your people.
Whoa, dude. Kichimak. I don't know, hey.
Hadi.
I'd
That
like to
means
know.
Dilo
That's
Ditsamaya
how
Grand.
you
Sorry.
How
They
many
are
Okay.
up and up.
Ranex?
Dilo Tsaka Dinametse Ranex. Like
Okay.
my things are...
Alright.
Yeah.
Because Ranex was the you know, like you had a Ranex back in the day, you were popping.
Run it. That's what I always think of when I think of a Ranex. Okay,
Oh, man.
number 9. In production terms, FX is short for?
FX. FX effect.
Yeah.
Did you just come up
He's
with
guessing everything,
No,
right?
I'm thinking.
I don't know what's there. He keeps looking there.
Maybe there's someone who's showing him that.
Oh man, I wasn't ready for this. Yo.
Okay, and then the last question. How many people have been inducted into the Hip Hop Museum in South Africa on the Hennessy Wall of Fame?
Ooh, I don't know how many.
You gotta give me a number.
Okay, between 20 and 30. Guess a number.
I'd say a good 28.
Ah, you're so
26.
close, but no.
But now Nas is
many?
not taking a shot.
Nas is
It's
not
26.
taking a shot.
So
26?
since they opened, they haven't like inducted more people, which is something they're gonna do. But
Yeah.
it's been 26.
kids.
Man.
Now
Yeah.
you know. You better put your
There's some
face
people
on there.
that should be on that wall. And there's some people that shouldn't be on that wall.
Oh, Nasi.
Do you want to have that conversation?
Are you gonna tell us, or you don't wanna fight? Are you choosing
I ain't
peace?
about the politicking. I'm
Politics
nice.
find you.
I'm a
Politics
nice
find you.
guy,
Politics is
man.
not something you
I'm
go out
trying
for,
not
but
to be
they find you.
controversial, you know.
Speaking
You
of,
are controversial. What are you talking
like-
about? The first half of the show,
was
number one.
controversy. Speaking of, politics and being in spaces where you have to collaborate and work with other people, you are part of Hash One. We've mentioned that a couple of times. Is it Hash One committee or just
It's
Hash
a
One?
committee.
Hash One is the group, and then Hash One Committee is the label.
Oh, okay. Hash One committee. Where did the relationship start? What what is Hash One?
So, man, so they're like my brothers, man. So Mix and Sanji used to be friends with my older brother.
Are you checking your older brother's friends?
I want to say Jackie, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just out here, like, we've known each other for years, like since I was a kid, and in the early 2000s, when I finished high school, there was my brother had a label called Soto Mafia, and in there was like 9 of us, producers and artists. Tejo was part of it, King Caddy, few of us, like,
Yeah.
and we used to like guys like Botsejo were very commercially viable, and me, Sanji, and Mix were like, we liked that boom bap, the kind of music we made was
Things on the
you know,
sidelines, yeah.
and we decided like, yo man, let's just make music together. And the more we did it, the more we found a vibe, and we 2012 we dropped our first project, and
Y'all
it got a
have been
great
at it
response.
for a while.
Yeah, bro.
That's like, do you know what we were doing in 2012? I won't tell you.
You'll know my age. And then
People will be counting.
you guys dropped Tenasu. Why are we listening to this? What is the meaning of this? What are we finding in there?
So Tenasu is Tepiso, Nasi, and Songula. It's the prefixes
It's
of our
like
real
those
names.
parents who mix kids' names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Legato and Jacob, Liche.
You're a type of vibe, bro.
Yeah.
But it represents, us. It's a promise to finish what we started. You know what I mean? We've been at it, bruh, and we should have been a lot further.
Yeah.
But because of the lack of consistency, like I said earlier, lack
You
of
get tired,
knowledge,
man.
certain things, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You don't know how to maneuver the game. You end up losing out on certain things, So
Yeah.
Sinasu was just like a coming of age. It's our second album, and we had gone through, I think it took us 5 years to put that project together.
Yeah.
And it was just that moment for us to be like, yo, this is us putting ourselves back on a pedestal where we feel like we are. And y'all gonna rock with it, whether you like it or not.
And that's
Because
it.
it's
You know what I
fire.
mean?
Can I
Yeah.
ask, what is it that you started? When you say finish what you started, if you can describe what it is that you started, what would it be?
Being elite rappers.
Shout out.
You know what I mean?
I really
Yeah.
like that.
Nobody can play that game with us locally.
Nobody can fuck with you,
Like
man.
nobody can play that game.
Yeah.
Like you can count them on one hand, but nobody does it like Hash One.
And that's it. Where
You
can
know what I
people
mean?
find the project? Where can they listen to the project?
Yeah, it's available on all DSPs, Spotify, everywhere.
That digital streaming platforms.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lazy
Put your
man.
game down.
Okay, the rain is whiling. What do we do?
It is.
I think let's move indoors.
Yeah.
We're moving indoors.
Cut. So you're still in the fortress? We've just moved inside because the rain's a hater.
The rain is a hater. So we got lost in conversation. We're not quite sure where we were with Nasi Tautona. So let's find out about your relationship with poetry. Earlier on, we were speaking about lyricism, and we're speaking about how important it is to focus on the pen and what is a greater form of writing than poetry. So what is your relationship with poetry? Do you feel
Do you
that
even
being a
consume
lyricist
poetry, you know?
is being a poet?
I used to consume a bit of poetry. I don't know how I ended up in that space, but it just kind of happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's when we met. The first time I saw live poetry was Pick Me Up
Poetry.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, whoa, this is,
It's lit.
this is quite, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Prior to that, I used to watch Def Poetry Jam on online and stuff, and there's some dope guys there. I was like, what is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about my own stuff, and I'm like, yo, the way you deliver certain things is like has a certain kind of emotion that you invoke,
Right.
and you know what
Yeah.
I mean. So I started testing out like old verses and trying to kick them as poems, and it kind of worked. And I was like, yo, this is cool.
So do you think
This
you'd
is
ever
cool.
go like completely unplugged, like kind of poetry vibes, no background music, just you and your work? Do you feel like your work even stands strong enough for you to be able to do that?
I think I could. I don't know if I want to, but I definitely think I could, because things that when I approach writing, I always try and say something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So there's certain songs that speak to struggle, and I'm very conscious about what I'm saying and how I'm constructing these sentences, how I'm connecting the dots.
Yeah.
Wordplay is a very important thing to me. So I think if I tried to actually write poetry, I probably could.
Does wordplay, because you said your creative process is you in the booth, does wordplay come naturally to you, or is that something you work on
You have to fight
afterwards?
for, yeah.
Now it comes naturally.
Legit.
Ew.
Yeah,
I would
you
put you
have
on
a
the
flow
spot,
that's
but
just
I'm
like I can
nice.
hear Nasi. Like the minute Nasi comes on, like I
Yeah,
know. Is
yeah.
that something you developed, or it's just how you were born into this rap thing?
So I used to rap in a very regular way, like the rhymes every 4 bars.
Yeah.
Technicalities.
Just the other day, we were driving to Mafike as Hashwan, and Sanji was playing one of my old songs. I was like, yo, I was so whack.
I sucked. Nothing hurts
You know
like
what I mean?
consuming your old work, bruh. You know, I pull
I
out my
was
old poetry
whack,
books
bro.
and I go through
When
it. I'm
you
like,
get too confident, you need to humble yourself
by
and
going
play
back to
your
your
own
old shit.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, what rapping is this? Is like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Come on, dog. So now the way I rap, like if you listen to me a cappella and I'm in studio rapping on a beat, and you can't hear the beat, you're like, what's this guy doing?
What is
you know
this?
what I mean?
Yeah.
But you hear it on the song, you're like, wow, what pocket are you fitting in? So I don't know if it's something I did consciously, but I just ended up levitating to just trying to sound as different as possible.
Yeah.
People always want to rhyme a certain way. Like, I don't like rhyming every line with
Yeah,
every line.
no,
Like,
kitty
you know what I mean?
couplet,
Like,
you know, kitty couplet.
I'll switch it up. I could do a verse. The entire verse doesn't actually rhyme.
Yeah, but it
But-
flows.
But it flows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So things like that. I can't explain how I rap. People can't explain how I rap. So it's like, yeah.
You just take it for what
That
it
is.
is.
How different can you be?
So speaking of pocket poems and seeing if his work stands without a beat, Nasi's going to share his pocket poem with us sitting right here.
Right here.
And it's something that he wrote a while back. So like, yeah, let's hear it, my boy.
Okay.
And it's untitled, by the way, so he couldn't give us anything.
Yeah. I don't know if I've recorded this before, but it's, I don't know, I visit this verse when I feel like I'm going through this again. So it reminds me of the time when I wrote it. And ke lebakanyana ke sa tshware pene le pampiri, so I'm feeling like jotting down. Megopolo ya me bikinyana, show skillinyana, so didima boss. Cause I'm on my way to better days. I've been through hella pain today, or what a day. See, life wanna test this kid, but you gotta have tested kills to face anything. See, I done seen shit change in the blink of an eye. Panya talking about money, boss. Next thing, the money's gone. It ain't funny when poverty strikes you like unions. I keep hoping, but jang is greener on the other side. Whether sunny or rain, I try and gain strength by the day. While y'all looking for fame, Nike patala success. But life keep on tossing me more stress. See, negativity ain't never been positive. Plus I heard change is the only constant. So constantly I try to find ways to inspire me. Despite the hate, I keep my faith in God and try and change my reality. Looking for the better days.
There's a line about when poverty strikes like unions. I was like, what?
Oh, I'm naming it back to basics.
And then I wanted to talk about another line that you had. Uipatla success. What does that look like? How batle fame or batla success?
I love the way you
Ishwan.
shatter your language.
It has that boom shaka. It's the boom and the bab, man. Boom and the bab. Success is wrong. How is it fame king?
Look, success is not necessarily tied to just money. You're right. It's tied to career. It's tied to family. For me, success looks like me having my 5 kids and a wife and a
5 kids.
You know,
oh no, in this
and
economy,
the white
sir.
picket fence, and just,
Nasi, no.
Number one.
Before he thinks about
What?
it.
We'll
And you know,
figure
we
it
have to drive
out.
them to crash. The one
We'll
is going to
figure
this
it
crash. The
out.
one is going to high school.
You know what I
mean?
nah, we'll figure it out. If
So you want the white picket fence life? You
Yeah,
want the movie?
you know, just having that place where you can just go and escape and
home.
being away from the rest of the world, and you have your people.
Is success tied to your art giving you that life, or are you okay with going into corporate at some point to build
graphic
that
was
life?
to build that life, is
that
that still
okay?
success?
Yeah.
If
I think
accounting built that life.
That life is tied to more. It's more about that life allowing me to be creative rather than the creative providing
that
that.
life.
You're right.
Okay.
So however I get to that life, once I get there, I should be able to not worry about making money and worry about, am I creating the dope stuff that I want to create? You know what I mean? So it's I always look at your approach to art shouldn't be to get something from it.
Yeah.
You know, your art
Very
should
true.
give.
Yeah.
If anything, your art should give.
So are you worried about fame? Are you waiting for your pop-off? Is that something that you see in your future or want for your future?
It's not a want. It's not a need. But hey, it must be nice.
Have you ever had a moment where you thought it would be your moment? Because you've worked like with some big names. Do you ever have a
You've
moment where
done
you're
so
like, this
much
is my
work.
moment?
Yeah, I felt like that, man.
Yeah.
And is that not enough? Is that just not in the moment?
Because it's, you know what it feels like? It's like that moment where they're about to raise the curtains
Yeah.
and you can hear the crowd,
Yeah.
right? And you're about to walk onto stage and then Eskom,
Whoa.
Well, that is
right?
dark.
And they never get to see or hear what you had planned, right?
Yeah.
Or you have to change what you had planned just to accommodate the situation. So it always feels that way. Like, I've done a lot. I've worked with some dope people. I've had those songs that are just like catching fire in the streets, and it's like, yo, let me drop this, let me do this, and then something goes wrong, and it's like, oh man.
Fucking
Is that maybe just not your fate?
I don't know what it is. I think sometimes it's not. I look at it as that's not the plan.
Yeah.
That's not the way things are supposed to happen for me.
Yeah.
So whatever happens for a reason.
Sometimes I feel like success in itself is just in the spaces that you're in. How impactful are you? I don't care if it's a space with 10 people in it or a fucking stadium. If you're in the space that you're in and you're making
impactful.
moves and people hear you and they're like, this is music, this is message.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
I dig that. I can get down with that. But at the same time, the industry is so screwed up. The industry is a bad place to be.
Who's fucking the industry up?
Bro, I don't know.
Is it the guys at the
bro.
top?
You
Is it the
can't even-
artists?
Fucking it up.
It's the labels. It's this influencer culture nonsense. Like, there's a lot wrong in the game. You know what I mean? And it's weird in a sense that whack people are just getting put on. It's like, yo, what are y'all doing? Like, who are you talking to? Let me talk to that guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all profit driven, so obviously it makes sense that they just put on whatever's gonna last and just get the bag now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not about longevity or building.
I wanted to say that there's zero longevity in my
Yeah.
opinion. People are popping up and popping
They're
out
dipping,
every
bro.
single
I mean,
second. It's ridiculous.
even if you listen to my piano, right? There's not a single song that's lasted like a month or two.
Oh, Nasi Tautona.
No. There's so many hits
I'll
coming
think about
in.
that.
Yeah.
I'll think-
There's so
it's
many
the flooding
hits
we were
coming
talking
in.
about.
So this week there's a song trending.
Yeah.
Next week we're now Sansoleda, but it's another one.
And
Yeah.
the
You know what I
moves,
mean?
I can't keep up with the moves, guys.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
we'll see in 10 years, are we still going to be playing these songs?
But maybe in
That's
10
true.
years
You know
we'll
what I
still be playing the song that's coming up. Nasi, please link us to your last song so we can
Wait,
head out
first,
of here.
where do we stalk you?
Instagram, man, that's my favorite place to be.
Yeah. What's your handle?
At Nasi Tautona.
I see you playing on TikTok nowadays.
I'm
You're gonna
trying.
be such a dad. This guy's gonna be such a dad.
Please find this TikTok. Yeah, Nasi, give us.
Like, yeah, man, it's TikTok is the one place where you can just be yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? No worries. It's not about, hey, my friend, this.
You're just a
We just
person.
vibe.
You're a goofball. You're a
So,
goofball.
I am.
Yes,
I am.
goofball. Please link us to the
Yeah,
last
man,
song.
this is Hash1 and DJ Liquid, EKK. You know what I
Iketle
mean?
boy.
This is
It's
the
vibes.
Queen's Fortress. This was amazing conversation. I just
And this is
Bye.
Nasi Tautona, guys.
Peace.
DJ Liquid.
Vibes in here, vibes in here. Just some vibes in here. Just some vibes in here. Ooh. Vibe with me, ride with me. Wanna just vibe with me. Japanana skata kalerata kitingwana. Aish, bon, how can I get there? And stop thinking about netla. No try, utla, hotela tupa jakamretwa. Wanna just vibe with me. Aish, how can I get there? Sky batla tata wana ka sky tall. Don't be chachara and get to what on saspor. Mukino meno batla masari when I store. Aish. Nka ufangwana marijuana self. So you don't know how to move with the baby mama stealth. It ain't complicated, baby. Don't want no drama, lady. When the get down get too good for you to lax, you need to relax. I go kitty. I was a cut you off. Check a by score. Bembora. Copas camora. Relax. Copas camora. Vibes in here, vibes in here. It's a vibe, man.
Just some vibes in it. Yeah, just some vibes in it. Ooh, vibe with me, vibe with me. Gonna just vibe with me. Japana naska takalera tanke te wanna vibe with me.